family. It's high noon. You're tuned to the State of the City. Here live on Soul Classics 1590 WFBR. I'm your host, Brother Muhammad. Let me thank all of you that the sound of my voice is coming to at the top of the hour, the top of the show, and the top of the flow for having us locked in and clocked in on those raggedy radios. Please do yourselves a favor and turn them up nice and loud to get you a big fat Wednesday late morning, early afternoon crowd on this Wednesday, December the 18th, 2013. And then go one step further. Call your family, call your friends, call your kit and kin, call those that have your complexion, those that have your divine connection that want to work to bring about some universal corrections in this city and this state and this country and on the planet. And call the co-workers, the slow workers, and even more those that you know are got to be and about to be and fitting to be no workers right about now. Let them know that the State of the City is on the air. Got a lot we're going to share. Don't have a guest that's coming through, so we got a lot that we're going to do before we're through. So let me start the show off as I always do, by first and foremost reminding you that we're now streaming live on the World Wide Web, so you can join us at www.1590wfbr.com. And for those that would like to join us on our social network media page, you can do so kindly by going to our Twitter page, which is the #1 State of the City, or you can send me the Facebook request to be my Facebook guest, or to be my Facebook friend, or my Facebook friend and me at Darren, D-A-R-E-N, State of the City. Last name is spelled Muhammad, M-U-H-A-M-M-A-D. Spell it right, get it right, and you'll have us locked in your site. For those that would like to go a little further and join us on our Spreaker page, all you have to do is go to our Spreaker page at www.spreaker, S-P-R-E-A-K-E-R, and you can listen in near or far, wherever you are. And last, but surely not least, those that would like to join us on TuneIn Radio, all you got to do is go to TuneIn, zoom in, and you'll be soon in listening to WFBR 1590. And with that, let me start the show off, as I always do, each and every day and in each and every way, in dedicating the show to my brother and friend, Brother Eric Easton, and to the Little League football champs there in Northeast Baltimore, the Parkside Warriors, and to all of our children that exist in the city of Baltimore and are, of course, practicing and playing on fields in the city, which they still do not have lights. But the Parkside Warriors are champs, and we lift them up, and we got a little clip that we're going to share with you, courtesy of WBFF Fox 45 News, talking about our young people, because there will be many and plenty talking about the children. We're having this for the children. We're doing this for the children. But the old saying goes, show me where you put your money, then I know where you really care, and if you can really share in terms of the resources and the money that is supposed to flow into our communities. And so, again, we lift up our young people in the city of Baltimore, but particularly the Parkside Warriors, but all of our young people that are doing the right thing, and oftentimes without the backing of those in City Hall, which seem to shrink and become city small when it comes to doing for our children. But when it comes to doing those for those on the outside and those who don't live here nor give here, then they seem to have an abundance. But when it comes to our children, then they seems to have very little. So again, you tune to the State of the City. But as I said before, let me go to this clip. Don't have a guest, so we got a lot more that we're going to address, a lot more we're going to press, and a lot more we're going to stress before we conclude on the show this afternoon. Got to say at the top of the show on the flow, the phone number to get in on the conversation is 410-761-1592 when we open up the lines at the bottom of the show. And with that, let me share this clip that was from Fox 45, as we're going to talk about the young people today. And I got some other stories that we're going to cover, but I want to start off congratulating the young people, congratulating the coaches. Some of them I've had a chance to meet, such as my main man, Brother Vince out there, Brother Dennis, as well as two coaches that they lost tragically, and one in a motorcycle accident and one who drowned this year. And so our children had to endure the loss of their coaches, but still was successful in winning the football championship. But they were learning life lessons that on the field that will prepare them for, again, life lessons off the field. And so we congratulate them, congratulate the coaches, congratulate their parents. But we got to work to get lights on the field for every child in the city of Baltimore. They shouldn't take Under Armour, but you would think that those that's running around talking about partying for the children would party for a purpose when they're having these Christmas parties and these holiday parties during this time of the year, but use it and use their money and then press your city council and your city council president and press your mayor and stress your mayor. And, of course, these white foundations, these nonprofits, and these white corporations that take enormous amounts of money out of the city of Baltimore, never to give anything back, such as just a minimum amount, a minuscule amount of having lights on every football field in Baltimore City. And yes, those of you that live up Liberty Road in Baltimore County as well. So you stop having to burn out the bulbs on your cars, on your big old SUVs and your Mercedes-Benzes and your BMWs, because you're a black man working and a black woman working, and you got to go to work to pay to get them lights fixed that the police might be pulling you over on the road for up there. Because you got to use your car and put it on the field to light up the field so that Man, Riri, Nook, and Mook and them can have some football practice at nighttime. That becomes an indictment on the mayor and the city council and 2nd District Councilman Brandon, what's his name? The rugrat down there. The rugrat down there, Brandon Scott, running around saying they care about the children. But if you can't work with these same corporations and fake white liberals representing the nonprofit industrial complex in the city, that said we're going to make sure that every field in the city of Baltimore has lights on them. And yes, you could put timers on them so that they go off at a certain time. But I'll be damned. Here we are in 2013, and your children are still going out practicing on fields where they don't have lights, and you got to use your cars and your SUVs and your work trucks looking like a damn Soul Train line, man. Looking like a Soul Train line on a football field for your children. And you pay taxes in the city. You pay taxes in the state. You pay taxes in Baltimore County. So you should be pressing these elected officials and saying to them, show me that you really care. And here's one way to show that you care. Make sure every child, don't wait for Cal Ripken and his foundation, which is money they get from the federal government. Don't wait for Cal Ripken. And if I was you, I'd keep my children away from Cal Ripken anyway till he explained his relationship with Jerry Sandusky and that Second Mile Foundation up there in Pennsylvania. I would keep my children away from Cal Ripken till he can explain what was his real relationship with Jerry Sandusky, with them abusing of the children and abusing of boys. Most of them were black and brown. A few poor whites, but most of them were black and brown. But let me go to this clip courtesy of Fox 45 talking about the young little brothers. Again, man, there at Parkside who won the championship in spite of the loss of one of their coaches. See if we can pull this clip up and share it with you this afternoon on the State of the City. Trying to get it. So let me go to this quick musical break. We'll work to get it up and share it with you. So you're listening to the State of the City. Listen to this message. But people clearly make the world go round.
Music and stories worth
You
staying
barely
up
can
for.
see the ball, but you still gotta work through it.
Nightfall at Maritime High School
Let's go, 24 double on set.
is far from the darkest depth this season.
Break.
I think it showed them how to be resilient.
2 coaches killed this season. Coach Carl Cooley, who drowned on a family vacation, and Coach Corey White, killed in a head-on motorcycle accident in the Harbor Tunnel on Halloween night.
He gave us confidence, saying that like we're gonna do it for Coach Corey.
And do it, they did. A pair of Parkside Warrior teams won national championships in Florida this weekend.
How it feels to be a national champ? Good. Do it feel good?
Let's go.
Y'all want to go back next year?
Let's go.
They honored him by their play every single game. every single practice.
Especially the older boys have learned that they can't take anything for granted. And I heard a lot of them saying that they were doing this for Coach Corey. You know, it was touching.
In life's darkest days, touchdowns and teamwork shined light.
But to know that they carried him there in spirit is wonderful.
Of course, you heard that report courtesy of Fox 45 talking about our young babies there. The Parkside Warriors, as I said before, shout out to Brother Vince, Brother Dennis, and a lot of the other young brothers I know, the coaches that have been working with those brothers, and I've had a chance to meet them, of course, and greet them at Terra Cafe. But again, as I said before, the sad part is that they're in a city that clearly does not care for black children, don't love black children, brown children, or even poor white children if they have to exist in a city, that they can't have lights on all the fields in the city. Bet you if you go to the zoo, take a trip to the zoo. I bet you all the animal habitats out there, all the animal exhibits have lights, and then take a trip down to the aquarium, as many of you will, with their dollar days coming up during this holiday season. I'm certain that every habitat down there will have lights for the animals. Or take a trip over to the SPCA. I'm sure every cage or in every stall, every bin where the animals are housed will have lights. But when it comes to the children in the city of Baltimore, you would think that after the death of that little sister, Deanna Green, and what her father and mother, Bubba Green, and his wife had to endure, that the mayor and the city council and those in the Department of Recreation, those in the Department of Housing, those in other city departments around the city, you would think that your superintendent of schools, Tisha Cedar Girl Edwards, who I'm coming to in just a few, you would think she would say that we're going to make sure that these fields are safe for our children and they have lights on the field. They got doggy parks down there at Patterson. They got doggy parks, man, where they make sure they got lights for the little dogs and the big dogs, and you better not bring your big dog in there where the little dog's supposed to be, or you will get a fine. But yet, who's responsible for making sure our children have the necessities in terms of what they should have for their growth and development and maximum development in the city of Baltimore? So again, I congratulate those young brothers and their coaches and their parents as well. But let me transition now as we talk about these other stories in terms of what's going on in the city of Baltimore. See that this Baltimore City police officer, Officer Kern, Kern, I believe is his name, was sentenced yesterday. Another one of them thugs in blue uniforms that shot and maimed a trainee from the University of Maryland. But again, the question would be, why was he only sentenced to 2 months, 60 days, and of course, where are the supervisors and the superiors and those that gave permission for Officer Karen and those who were trespassing literally on the grounds of the old Rosewood Hospital and facility for the blind, the handicapped, and the disabled? But your Teflon leprechaun governor and members of the Jewish community that clearly wanted that land out there for maybe another Shoshana Cardin school or academy, clearly want that land out there. So they booted the handicapped, the blind, the disabled. But yet you didn't hear a word from many of those that be running around talking about equality, dignity, and respect over the past 2 legislative sessions. They didn't say nothing about the blind's dignity, nothing about the disabled dignity, nothing about those that could not hear in terms of their respect, in terms of their equality, kicking them out of an institution. Why? Because it was just a land grab. But nevertheless, you had Baltimore City police officers with a public safety facility they got down there on Northern Parkway and Park Heights and other places. They're all the way up there at Rosewood trespassing. And then you get a hothead and a hot dog and this Officer Kern, who decided to take out his revolver, his department-issued revolver, and shoot a trainee because somebody was talking while he was talking, man. But again, as I said before, at least during bear hunting season, it could be black bears, brown bears, red bears, white bears. They at least put a limit on them, man. During deer hunting season, they at least put a limit on them. But yet it seems that there's no limit on the hunting of black and brown in the city of Baltimore. Even black police officers, because to this day, as I was out there championing with a few brothers and sisters the case of William Torbett, shot and killed by 4 fellow officers, and, of course, beat down by some thugs coming out of the Select nightclub. And some of those who were in the nightclub, it's alleged, included some of those off of another radio station. We're talking about the community. But yet, none of them have ever opened their mouths to tell you about what they know about Sean Gamble, the Gamble family, and those that jumped Officer William Torbett outside the Select Club lounge. I don't know how they sleep at night, except they a bunch of snakes and fakes themselves. But again, you tune to the State of the City. Let me go to this clip again, courtesy of Fox 45, talking about officers sentenced to 60 days in jail. 60 days in jail. But, of course, this same radio station I'm talking about over there, they had a DJ got beat up. They had a DJ got beat up by Eminem and some of Eminem boys once, and they told the DJ that he couldn't sue them. So I said they must be running a new plug over there, beat up a DJ, get a free play on the airwaves, man. They sent out a memo from Radio 1 talking about they couldn't discuss it, man. This is the kind of people that you listen to get your information from. But again, you got a Baltimore City police officer, another one bites the dust. Notice you haven't heard a word from Commissioner Batts. Notice you haven't heard a word from your mayor regarding this officer being sentenced yesterday in Baltimore County in terms of shooting and maiming a man, a fellow trainee, Officer Gray, who I understand is blind for life. You will hear his mother say he's still having seizures, so therefore he's going to need numerous hours of physical therapy, as well as if he has children, who's going to help raise his children now. So I understand Attorney A. Dwight Pettit, and if time permits, I'll get him back on to talk about this case and so many, many more that's going on in the city of Baltimore. But again, as I said before, man, where can you be safe if you're a black man, a black child in the city of Baltimore, black woman in the city of Baltimore? Bears have dens. Foxes got holes to go down there too, man. Bees got hives. Birds have nests, but where can you go? Well, you're supposed to be safe at least from your fellow officers. And have you noticed the silence of the Fraternal Order of Police about this? Have you noticed the silence of the Fraternal Order of Police? But it could be because the officer's black that was injured and shot, and the perpetrator was white. So there's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. But you know we're going to talk about it here. It's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to dare talk about or even say in the city of Baltimore. And only to get 60 days and with pay. He's suspended with pay. Where's your state's attorney, man? Where's the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council down there? Suspended with pay. Again, like that radio station, maybe they running a new program, man. Maybe they running a new program. Huh? Shoot a trainee, right? Well, you put the ending on it. Shoot a trainee, and what do you get? Huh? Some gainies? Some gainies? Because 60 days in jail is nothing, man. But let me go to this clip, courtesy again of Fox 45, talking about this officer that was sentenced yesterday, but 60 days in jail. So listen to this, and we'll be back with more of the State of the City.
A jury convicted Baltimore City police officer William Kern. We caught up with him. Today, he left the courthouse in handcuffs, facing a 60-day sentence. Hardly justice in the eyes of family members of Raymond Gray.
No, it hasn't been served. I'm pissed off. That's how I feel.
What would you have liked to have seen?
I would have liked to have seen justice served.
And in your opinion, what would justice be in this case?
I would just like for it to have been served. I don't think it was served today.
It was back in February during a training exercise when Officer Kern, who was instructing recruits at the time, grabbed the wrong gun and fired it at Raymond Gray.
Somebody got shot. That's a situation where you should not have a live weapon.
A live weapon just inches from the simunition gun that was also strapped to his side.
He seemed to have what I described previously as an unhealthy attachment to that gun. He seemed to want to have it with him at all times.
Even after the shooting, testimony indicated Kern still refused to relinquish his weapon. As for the bullet that struck Cadet Gray in the head, it remains there.
He's not doing well at all. He just had a seizure last week. Another one.
Even though Kern did apologize to the Gray family, saying he'll have to live with this for the rest of his life, it didn't carry much weight.
And we're very disappointed.
The Baltimore City cop received a sentence of 60 days in jail. This after a jury found him guilty of reckless endangerment, a conviction that might just cost this officer his job as well as his pension. In Baltimore County, Joy LaPola, Fox 45 News.
Welcome back. Well, another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. But interesting, he says he has to live with this for the rest of his life. No empathy or sympathy in terms of what Gray has to live with for the rest of his life. No empathy or sympathy for what the family of Officer Gray has to live with, the trainee Gray has to live with for the rest of their lives. And, of course, to talk about he may lose his career. Well, let me remind you that Officer Riviere down there at the Inner Harbor, he lost his 19-year career in the Baltimore City Police Department for just grabbing up a little white boy, a little white Jewish boy at the Inner Harbor who happened to be skateboarding at the Inner Harbor when he called him dude. But yet, they talking about a black man getting shot, a trainee, and they worry about whether this guy, Karen, is going to be able to keep his job and continue his career. He shouldn't be working with no animals out there at the zoo if he mistakenly shot a rhino or shot a penguin or shot a whatever kind of animal out there at the zoo. You think they still let his ass work at the zoo with some animals, man? Yet you hear this? Do you hear that crap? If he will still be able to work, who wants to work with him? Who wants to be his partner? Come on. But it lets you see, man, the reality of, again, life in the city of Baltimore. Life in the city of Baltimore. But again, speaking of another one bites the dust, man. Let me get into this next story before we open up the lines. But clearly, and don't worry, I'm coming back to the DPW. Don't worry, I'm coming back to the Department of Public Works for those good Department of Public Works employees that call me and to thank me, but I thank you. Don't worry, I'm coming back to Rudy Child, the golden child, who's just only been there for just a little while, but for somehow he's been moved up to become now the head of DPW, one of the most powerful departments in the city of Baltimore, letting you see that corruption is as high as the horse's bridle, based on not what you know, but maybe who you know, not based on what you do, but maybe who you do, or who you screw in the city of Baltimore, so that you get, again, this neophyte in the golden child who makes Arnold Schwarzenegger and make your former big jabroni, broke back superintendent of schools, Andre Alonso, sounds fluent in terms of just his speech, man. But he's going to make six figures. He's going to make $106,000. Hopefully he can get him a speech pathologist down there at one of them, and maybe at one of them fake white liberals that's in your school teaching your children. Speaking of, another one bites the dust. But don't worry, I will be coming back to Rudy Child. And when I do, I'm going to be a little more hostile with the gospel. I ain't going to be like one of your soft and mellow preachers come this upcoming Wednesday or Tuesday night. I'm not going to be soft like one of them. I promise you. You're going to think I've really gone off when I come back to Rudy Child and the Department of Public Works in terms of that corruption in the city of Baltimore that nobody seems to want to talk or address or press them and stress them and ask, how could you take this man and fast track him? In less than 3 years, he's been down there, and now he's the head of DPW. All them qualified blacks and browns and others that's there in the city of Baltimore. But let me get into this next topic, story that I really want to get into. That last night, I understand there was a school board meeting, and the city school board voted to close 6 schools in 2014. Man, this is a hell of a gift to give to your children at the end of the school year for 2013 right here, going into 2014. This is a hell of a gift to give to your children. But again, as I've been saying and others as we've been out here fighting, that this is clearly the final solution. This is the final solution to the Baltimore City public school system. First, they came with the facility solution, and then they came with the school choice for the middle schools. And now this is no more than putting a nail in the coffin of the Baltimore City public school system. And in terms of, again, looking at those who are operating and working in terms of this criminal enterprise, from the fake white liberals to the nonprofit industrial complex, the foundations that are operating, such as, again, the Fund for Educational Excellence, where Bonnie Copeland came from and went back to, along with the one who set it up, Mr. Jerry Baum. Can't, of course, forget the likes of the Baltimore Community Foundation. I can't forget, of course, Safe and Sound and those fake white liberals that operate in there with Hathaway Freebie, always trying to get a freebie off your little black BBs, if you know what I mean. Hathaway Freebie. I know you call her Farabee. But also you have, of course, the Open Society Institute. which has a closed hedge fund, think to George Soros, which has a closed quantum hedge fund when it comes to George Soros and the Open Society Institute. And, of course, there's many more in terms of these dishonorable mentions, man. But they have clearly come in to seize total control of the Baltimore City public school system. And as we're looking at that, as I said to you before and shared with you before, that the school board now has voted to close more schools. And now we get some of these Johnny-come-latelys, Joni-come-latelys, and Jenny-come-latelys when we were out there telling parents, and along with Delegate Joe Carter, file a class action lawsuit because the school owes you money. They owe you $800 million. How the hell they going to come in and close your school when they owe you some money, fools? But again, you had the likes of the Algebra Project taking their instructions from Jay Gillen, who was making a killing off the babies, like Michael Sarbanes and the rest of them, who never attended Baltimore City public schools themselves. And if they did, they went to City or one of these other schools long before they had some integration. And I mean some real integration. Not just bringing some blacks in like you like the pepper on your food. Just a dash. That's it. But again, you had the facility solutions, which they closed your high schools. And once they close the schools, they give them over to the Department of Housing. Department of Housing can then sell them off, or they bring in some of these others, again, who cherry pick what schools they want and even cherry pick what children they want, man. And I know you say slavery is over. I know you said we no longer have an apartheid system existing in the city of Baltimore. Yeah, right. Yeah, white. But let's keep going. So you have now the facility solutions, which they came in with. The middle school so-called choice options they came in with. And charter schools and charters gone wild, and Teach for America gone wild as well. And again, also, as they were bringing in Teach for America, meaning bringing in the buppies and the guppies and the whuppies, talking about these black buppies that got a better relationship to their blackberries than they do your black children. These white buppies or whuppies that got a better relationship to their blackberries than they do your black and brown children. And, of course, bringing in the Filipinos with their cappuccinos and cappuccinos, and uprooting seasoned black teachers and black principals outside of the Baltimore City public school system. Because you know you ain't going to be teaching at no white schools. You know you're not going to be teaching at no white schools. But again, all of this was done, man, scientifically and, again, strategically to uproot those who, again, would bring about some continuity in our school system and some continuity, again, for the children and those who, again, man, love the children, would love the children, and would have a problem coming to your children home. You ask some of these Filipino teachers as they come, damn if they even coming through your neighborhood, much less coming to your home. You ask some of these buppies around here, or ask some of these whuppies, would they come to your home? I doubt it, very seriously. I doubt it. They'll come, but they'll bring plenty security. They'll come, but they'll bring plenty security, a.k.a. Baltimore City Police. That's what I'm talking about. Or Baltimore City School Police. Toby Goodwin and the crew. But again, you tune to the state of the city. But again, man, the chief architect now is the interim Baltimore City Public School Superintendent. You know her as I know her. You call her Tisha Edwards. We just commonly refer to her as See the Girl. See the Girl. You know she is. See the Girl.
Back up on that ass and giving you something from the past with a blast. Somebody stop that.
Yeah.
Before I break out on that ass.
Yeah, we got to stop her, but that's See the Girl down there in terms of, again, the person that is now heading up, not the most qualified to be the head of the Baltimore City public school system in terms of Tisha Edwards, a.k.a. See the Girl down there, man. See the Girl that is now running the Baltimore City public school system, just continuing what the big jabroni Andre Alonso began. But let me give you the list of schools that they're talking about closing, because, again, as I said before, that this is cold and calculated and lets you see that you got the Grinch in See the Girl, a.k.a. Miss Tisha Edwards, who had to get a waiver because she wasn't qualified to be the superintendent of public schools, who herself had to get a waiver. And now we have, again, her and her married men or her married women that are working to close several of your schools. And once they close your schools, they no longer need your teachers. They no longer need your principals. And in about 50 years, you won't be able to recognize a black school with a black name on it in the city of Baltimore. From Reginald Lewis to Samuel Banks to Frederick Douglass to Paul Launch Dunbar. That's the kind of move they pulling right now, man. That's the kind of move they pulling. And then they set them up and make them academies so they can do what they want to do with them without having to go before the mayor, the city council, and even some of your state legislators that, again, have come up and come out to say that we cannot close these schools in the city of Baltimore, but we should be working to keep these schools open. But let me give you the list of these schools before I open up the lines at 410-761-1592. The Baltimore City School Board voted Tuesday to close 6 schools at the end of the school year, but spared 2 other schools from immediate closure after passionate protests from the community. The schools approved to close at the end of the school year are Bluford Drew Jameson STEM Academy East, the Baltimore Civitas Middle High School, Baltimore Talent Development High School, the Baltimore Antioch Diploma Plus High School, Baltimore Liberation Diploma Plus High School, and the Friendship Academy of Science and Technology. Now, other than the Bluford Drew Jameson STEM East and West, these other schools, man, are some made-up academies, as I just showed you. When I was coming up, you went to a elementary school, you went to a junior or middle school, and then you went to a senior high school. I don't know what all of this mess is right here they done created, man. I really don't know. But this is the mess that they created. Travel around the state. Read newspapers around the state. Go to any other jurisdiction in the state and see if they got this many charter schools. See if they've come in and cut and gut their public school system like they've done in Baltimore City. It's really just a moneymaker. It's really a moneymaker for the fake white liberals. And again, they go get these individuals. Oh, let me throw in dishonorable mention to plan. What's that one called? PCAB, and what's the other one? The Family League. They all in cahoots together, man. They all in cahoots together in terms of what they're doing to the Baltimore City public school system. But again, Bluford Drew Jameson, and I do remember last year they were talking about they were having some financial problems over at the West Side campus. I don't know if Dr. Emery will come on and maybe we can ask some questions about that. But I know it all wasn't on the secretary. You know the old saying goes, the buck stops where? At the head, man. The buck stops at the head. So we have to ask some questions. But nevertheless, man, these schools, of course, I do know Baltimore Civitas Middle High School. I think that's the one that was controlled by John Hopkins, as well as the Baltimore Talent Development. I think Hopkins set that up as well, man. So again, you have to follow the money. You have to follow the money or follow, again, the crumbs that's leading to the money and the ones that's holding the money bag when they're talking about closing your schools. But it goes on and says, however, Bluford Drew Jameson STEM Academy West and the Baltimore Community High School were saved from immediate closure. So I guess they just going to, they say prolong the pain. But let's keep going here. The board revoked Bluford's West charter, but said that it will seek another operator for the school. Baltimore Community High School recommendation was amended to delay the school's closure until 2017. The board also rejected the plan to close Grove Park Elementary School in 2017, but approved closing Augustus Fells Savage Institute of Visual Arts that year. Since the plan was proposed by interim CEO, she's not no CEO, she's a school superintendent, man. Now, I could put another O on that CE, but she ain't no CEO. Let's keep going here. Tisha Edwards, the recommendations have drawn scrutiny from the school board and protests from school communities. On Tuesday, the board heard nearly 3 hours of testimony from students, teachers, community leaders, parents, and pastors and politicians who urged the board to keep some schools open. Man, they reduced the politicians to the last ones as if they didn't have no power, man. So again, unless you see the disdain and disrespect that even your politicians there that would dare come to a school board meeting to speak out for you and the children receive from this Baltimore racist, rabid, ravenous Sun paper. But let's keep going. Edwards said that while the decision were tough, this room is filled with people that remind us how many people care about the children of Baltimore. Well, we know it's evident that you don't. Let's keep it 100 now. In the case of Baltimore Talent Development High School, the board was urged to allow the school to serve out a 1-year contract extension. It was granted in April. The school has been recommended for closure last year, but the board gave it the extension. A representative for Senator Vernon Jones Rodwell, who attended the public hearing Tuesday said that the Democrat wanted the school board to give talent development the year it was promised. Several supporters of Blueford Drew Jemison STEM Academy spoke in support of keeping the popular all-boys school open. Marvin Doc Cheatham. Now, as long as we was out there fighting against, again, the closing of your middle schools and putting those little babies in the same buildings with some of the middle school older students, as long as we was out there fighting against the facility solutions which closed your zone schools, I don't think I remember seeing Doc Cheatham out there. He must be running for something. I'm not clear about the running. I want to see him do some standing and do some fighting, man. So he got to be running for something, but he ain't gunning for nothing. But let's keep going here. And if he's listening, he can call, because I will ask him, where was he when we were out there fighting at Southwestern when they had the meeting? Pardon me, at Poly. And I threw the book at Alonzo and Copeland. Threw the book at him. Told him it wasn't worth the paper it was printed on, damn it. That's the way you talk to them criminals. Stop trying to appeal to their morals and appeal to their values. Because they have no morals and have no values if they're going to close your school. They ain't closing one whorehouse, one crack house, one liquor store in the city. But yet they closing your schools. Let me keep going here. But we warned you it was coming. Goes on and says again that many of the boys, well, I ain't even going to quote Doc Cheatham. He ain't even worth quoting, man. I'm not even quoting him. But again, that's the end of the article for the most part. And it says that the board approved opening new schools in Canton and Cherry Hill. Well, that must be for Towson University, which are taking over your schools out there in Cherry Hill. Must be for Towson universities and them fake white liberals that are now running your school system in Cherry Hill and South Baltimore. Got to be. But let me open up the lines, take your thoughts, questions, comments. If not, I want to get into this article on Harbor Point. If not, I want to get into this article on Harbor Point because we see the same criminals, the same band of criminals with Michael Beatty. We see the same band of criminals, John Patarakis. We see the same band of criminals and these ghetto superstars, so you think they are. So you think they are. These same band of criminals that's operating in the criminal enterprise zone, as they call it down there, the enterprise zone in Harbor East, treating the citizens in East Baltimore like they the least, as opposed to in the East with the yeast, if you know what I mean. But you got the same band of criminals operating down there, Michael Beatty, John Patarakis, and again, M&T Bank, which would raise not just a green flag, but maybe a red and a green flag. M&T Bank and Struvers, Eccles, and Rouse, which have come back out of filing bankruptcy, going broke, disgusted, and could not be trusted. Here come Bill Struvers again and J.P. Morgan. And J.P. Morgan is in on the deal as well. But clearly we see that Michael Beatty's not putting up any of his money. He's not going to put up any of his money. And so just like we have that failed junk bond status $305 million Hilton Hotel, and I'm sure that casino will fail soon as it opens, only to be used for money laundering, we'll say alleged. But your mayor clearly must have not influenza, but she got some amnegronesia. She maybe don't remember what happened to Kwame Kilpatrick in Detroit, man, when he got left holding the money bag, or after the boy stole the money bag, he just got left being the bag. So your mayor may want to begin to look at what happened to Kwame Kilpatrick and get out of this bed with the likes of Michael Beatty, get out of the bed with J.P. Morgan, get out of the bed with M&T Bank, get out of the bed with Struvels, Eccles, and Rouse, get out of the bed with John Patarakis. Ooh, just a thought. Just a thought. She might want to get out of bed with John Patarakis, man, in terms of the Greek syndicate, the Greek godfather down there in Harbor East. But let me see if we can pull up this clip, and if I don't come back and get into it tomorrow, I will come back and read that article at the Baltimore Brew in its entirety, talking about this issue of Harbor Point development. And it is in, of course, Harbor East and what it may mean for the citizens and that part and the city that continues to give money to these white developers, but they don't want to put up any of their money, but they continue to want the city to put up more and more of, again, money that the city claimed that they do not have. So let me see if we can pull up. This is from Baltimore Brew. Let me see if we can pull up this clip talking about, again, the city now approves, again, the money for Harbor Point in terms of at the board meeting yesterday, I believe, is when it was approved. So let me see if we can pull up this clip. Then we're going to come to the line. Take your thoughts, questions, comments at 410-761-1592. Listen to this message, and we'll be back with more of the state of the city. Let me see if we can get this up for you, and we'll be back with more of the state of the city. Just got to get through this infomercial, talking about the city approves this money. Again, more money, again, for the controversial, so-called controversial It's more than controversial. It's criminal-versal. Criminal-versal in terms of what they're doing down there with the Harbor Point, and not willing to put up their own money, but only wanting the citizens of Baltimore to put up our money, as well as, again, helping them with their projects, but they're not willing to put up their own money, and then to see some of these same players before that went bankrupt. But listen to this, and we'll be back with more of the State of City.
At tonight's Finance Board meeting, members approved $35 million in bonds for a project that's been the subject of much debate. Developers want to build on this parcel of land known as Harbor Point, a $1.8 billion project heavily subsidized with your tax dollars. The latest controversy, though, isn't so much about cash as it is about chemicals, because Harbor Point used to be home to a chromium plant. Environmental officials have not yet given approval for drilling on the site, but that didn't stop the city from handing over funds or dismissing concerns.
So even if there are continued concerns about the air,
well, there are no concerns. They're just testing.
There are lots of people in the community who disagree, who believe that the fact that the corporation is self-monitoring the air quality is not sufficient. We want an independent third party to monitor the air quality.
Supporters of the project have been touting its benefits. They say it'll create 17,000 jobs, not right away, but over the next 35 years. Tonight's vote clears the way for developers to at least get started on construction.
It's very important. It enables the project to move forward. It's a critical stage, and it's really great for the city to be able to move forward and enables the developer to close on their financing.
But critics were hoping the city would wait for final environmental approval before handing over the money, or at least discuss how potential dangers will be dealt with.
And why the finance department is discounting the community's concerns truly bothers me.
Welcome back. You listen to the State of the City. Now, let me make this point of reference. I don't know who died and made Kim Trueheart the new twactivist and spokesperson for the black community. Let me make that clear. Kim Dragonheart from my perspective. But again, she running around with these same fake white liberals that's closing your schools, closing your recs, and making a whole bunch of heck in our communities right now. Let me make that point clear. Let's start with, of course, that fake Jewish godfather Saperstein up there, that property that he owned when they closed the store of our sister that was up there at, what's that old spot that Lenny Moore used to own? What's it called? Superman's or whatever. You know what I'm, Sportsman Lounge up there. Sportsman Lounge. I don't know who died and made Kim Trueheart the new spokesperson for the black community when she tied closely to Safe and Sound and Hathaway Freebie and the rest of them around here. But she had a court attitude when I was talking about it. But it makes no difference to me, because I'm going to tell the truth and shame the devils, whether they black devils, brown devils, red devils, or white devils. Make no difference to me, man. So, but I don't know who told her that she was a spokesperson for the black community down there, man. So, you know, we done lost a lot of, again, good people when they take Kim Trueheart and make her the new spokesperson for the black community, man. But let me open up the lines. Take your thoughts, questions, comments. And I know we ain't supposed to talk about it. I know we ain't supposed to talk about each other. But she's so ugly. If I can just so ugly. If she put her makeup on, it don't run. It probably escapes. She's so damn ugly. And that's what Brother Muhammad said. But again, I don't know who made her the new spokesperson for the black community. It's an insult to the real activists and twactivists in this city, man. I know we ain't supposed to talk about each other. But she's so ugly, when that makeup don't run, it escapes, man. She got to get out of that bed with Hathaway Freebie and them fake white liberals closing our recs. I grew up at a time we had recreation centers where strong black men, intelligent black women could run it, and we didn't have to go get no fake white liberals coming in to privatize our recreation centers. If the city can't run rec, they need to shut down City Hall. If they can't run no recreation centers, they need to shut down City Hall, man, and get out of the business of being in city government. This is the problem we got right now. You can't tell where City Hall ends and these fake twactivists begin. You can't tell where these fake white liberal organizations begin and these fake twactivists end right now. They so intertwined. They so intermeshed, man. That's the problem where we having right now. And anytime we want to confront them fake white liberals, we got some of these sisters that's willing to block for them or to co-sign for them because they got bad credit. Let me come to the line, 410-761-1592. And if she got a problem, or ain't no one to want to co-sign with her got a problem, they can get in on the conversation. I'm going to let her know right now, this ain't David Brown's show. This ain't that other Sister Flower show. Don't call up in here with that, because you'll get a checkup from the neck up. and much more for sure. With that, let me come to the line, 410-761-1592. Afternoon caller, you on the State of the City. Pardon my language.
Brother Muhammad, it seems like every time black people try to advance themselves, be it the late Rachel Wilson or, and our prayers go for Raymond Gray, something bizarre happened.
William Torbett.
You know that?
William Torbett. Got to throw him in there, right?
Something bizarre happened.
Yes, sir.
And you know that I think the black police officers only like 4% or something like that on the force.
Yes, sir.
And it's even less than that on the fire department. Right. Every time, but if you read the paper, you would think that William Kern is the victim.
Yeah, you would think that's how they flipped the
script.
You
he was the victim.
Yeah, you would think that Gray was trying to stick Kern up out there in Orange Mills,
that's
man.
That's what you would think.
You know what I mean?
You know,
right.
his whole pension should go to trying to help this man recuperate.
Right. Yes,
sir.
Because,
you know, because it don't sound. I hope and pray for the brother, but it doesn't sound very good for Mr. Gray.
Yes, sir. Well, I didn't hear nobody just running around here having all them parties. You didn't hear him say we're gonna raise some money to help Officer Gray get some gifts for his children. Yeah, you didn't hear none of that, did you?
No, only person I heard you talking about it.
Better watch him.
It's you.
Better watch him, man. But no, they'll talk about it for a minute. You understand? They'll talk about it for a minute.
Over like a donut.
Yes, sir. They minimize what happened to him, but let it have been one of them sugar boys with them sugar toys that they run with over there at that male brothel house. Oh man, they just spent 3 hours talking about it, brother.
And the man said even after that, he didn't want to give up his gun.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't give up his gun.
He should be up in Hagerstown for 20 years.
Yes, sir.
I bet you he'd give up more than a gun.
Yes, sir. That's right,
I'm
brother.
out. Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate it. We'll take a few more of your calls. 410-761-1592. You can get in where you fit in where you get in. If you want to talk about our young people, man, got to exist and persist in the city of Baltimore. Man, nook, mook, and them can't even get lights on their football field. But go to the zoo and see if all the animals got lights in their habitat. Go to the aquarium, see if they got lights in the habitat, man. They got fluorescent lights, red lights, green lights. Look like a damn party going on up in them in between the zoo and at the aquarium. Yeah, your children can't get lights on the field, man. But let me come to the line. Where's your insult level? Where is your insult level? Let me come to the line. And they closing 5 more of your schools. But we try to warn you, man. We try to warn you. We try to warn you that they were coming. Now we ain't going to do nothing but warn you. It's going to be freedom for everybody and freedom for nobody. We said once they close one school, they can close every school that they want to close. Some of you let them divide you from East Baltimore to West Baltimore, South Baltimore to North Baltimore. So now when they come for the rest of your schools, we can say, we told, where were you when we were out there fighting? Couldn't find you. You sitting on the sideline, thinking, trying to be like the weatherman, see if the coast was clear. Now it's clear, and you one of the coasts that they're clearing. With that, let me come back to the lines. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City.
Hey, good afternoon, Brother Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
You know, I was listening to the police. I mean, he's so attached to his gun. They say the guy even sleep in the bed with his gun. Like it's some kind of woman. I would say, what the world is wrong with this European?
Well, you know what they call him, brother, a son of a gun, man. A son of a gun, man. That gun is synonymous with his male sex organ, brother. You know that, right?
I absolutely
That's where that goes back to, man. Before they learn how to even have penile control, they learn them how to use a gun, man. So that's the society that we live in when you understand that mindset, the subconscious to the conscious, brother. All right?
That's right, Brother Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
You have a good day.
That's his great equalizer. All right? So he thinks so. All right, my brother. Thank you very much. With that, let me take a few more of these calls. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the State of the City. Caller going once. Caller going twice. You gone. You can't listen to me and listen to yourself as well. If you got a show, let me know. I'll tune in. You can get in on the conversation. 410-761-1592 before we wrap up. Get up out of here and make way for Brother Carlton Douglas with what's going on. I see he got some guests out there. He got some guests in the lobby, so I know he'll be coming on soon, coming on strong. It might be coming on long if you continue to support him, man. So with that, let me come back to the lines. 410-761-1592. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the State of the City. Turn that raggedy radio down. You're on the State of the City. Try you one more time.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm good. Turn that raggedy radio down, son.
All right.
All right.
Ask him why. Tell him I'm a white guy, right?
You're a white guy, and you. Thank you, and I appreciate.
I do see what he's saying. I know what he's saying, man. I've been down to the city dog shelter yesterday, and that thing is cleaner than the homeless shelters in the city. I don't think that's right.
It ain't right at all. So, I mean, I appreciate it.
Man.
Look.
Floors I went down that town yesterday. Them floors are clean enough to eat off of.
It's the issue of where are the city priorities is what we're talking about. It's not an issue of black and white, but it's about wrong and right and where their priorities in the city of Baltimore. That's what we're talking about, all right?
Yeah, they're fixing up all around the harbor. Why don't they fix up downtown first? Why don't they fix up the Howard Street and all that first and work their way out?
That's right. That's what you're supposed to do. They keep putting all their money there, and if developers got money, let the developers put up their money, right?
Yeah, downtown should have been fixed up first. All them people hold out for years waiting for them to fix up Howard Street and everything, and all they've done is fixed up everywhere but downtown.
That's right. Well, see, we agree on that, my brother. All right?
All right, definitely.
Appreciate you checking in. Thank you now. So one of my white listeners calling in, checking in. And if he can see this, now I got some hearing impaired, visual impaired that listen to the show, and they can see what's going on in the city of Baltimore. What's wrong with some of you, man? What's wrong with some of you? And don't want to call it like you really see it in terms of, again, where are the priorities in the city? There's no reason that all these fields in the city shouldn't have lights on them, man. All these fields in the city. Don't wait for Cal Ripken and the Cal Ripken Foundation to say they're going to come put up some money, but make the city do it. You pay taxes. Make the city put up the money. Make the city, how much it costs to put lights on a field? $5,000, $10,000? If that. They can put some floodlights on your corner if they think you out there banging or slinging. They can put some floodlights from the police department cameras. They can get some speed cameras in your community. Some that's not even working. And how much money they gotta give them? Let me come back to the line before we wrap up. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City.
Hey, thank you for receiving this call. Hey, Darren, I'm really distressed, man.
Should be.
Where is our city delegation? And these schools had to be closed in every one of their districts.
Right.
They They never called no community meetings, no nothing. They didn't get out here and protest.
Mm-hmm.
Where's McFadden, Branch, all of those guys? What the world are they doing?
Hey, brother.
And what are they going to go down to Annapolis for next year?
Yes, sir.
What reason are they going down there for?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man, in terms of what they're going to do, brother. But, again, you're supposed to at least be the watchman, and you're supposed to be awake and alarm the people of what's going on and say this is not happening. We need to keep the schools open, man. But, again, all this is part of, again, a bigger war on our children and a war on our teachers in terms of black teachers and, again, black principals. But if they don't stand up and fight, I'll fight with you, but I'm not going to fight for you. Now, if you're a child, I'll fight for you. But if you're an adult and you're scared about whether you're going to lose your pension, which they about to heist that anyway, then I'm not going to fight for you, but I will fight with you. All right?
Yeah, Nathaniel Oaks.
Yes,
all
sir.
of them, man, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to come back and
they
talk.
They would show their face.
Yes, sir.
What they stand for.
Yeah, they won't. The old saying, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. So clearly, they're falling for any and everything right now, brother. All right?
Yeah.
Appreciate you checking in now. With that, we'll take more of your calls, 410. At least better call my man Ronald Owens Bay, who at least had the wherewithal to put Dunbar, the original Dunbar, on the National Historic Registry. And you better do that with Douglas. You better do that with Carver. You better do that with schools with black names on them, like they did for City, which they know was predominantly white, of course, when Schaefer and the boys was over there. They know that. So you better do that with your school. Otherwise, they'll be turning it down, wearing it down, and 50 years from now, there won't be a trace that you will ever hear. You be in disgrace, displaced, and soon will be erased from the books, man. Let me come back to the line. We take one or two more calls, and then we getting up out of here. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City?
Yeah, good morning, Darren. Good afternoon, Darren.
Hey, my main man, Brother Willie. How you, soldier?
You got to get to your heart. Got to get to, boy.
You know where?
Get you that donation in there, boy.
Donation. You know where my office is, man. You know where my office is.
Hey, but let me make this point. Hey, look, man, I really appreciate you clarifying something.
Yes.
That because when I was out there fighting with you,
yes,
for these people, man, they didn't want to fight for themselves.
No.
I'm glad you came to the conclusion that you're not going to fight for them.
No.
You'll fight with them.
That's
right. Man, they don't want to see them want to fight for themselves, man.
Yes, sir. But at least do it for the next generation coming behind us, brothers. You always say. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But you got my number, man. When you're ready to fight, let me know, man. I'm there, man.
All right, brother. Thank you. Now, God bless.
I'm already signed up, man. But I'll get that to you as soon as I can. They have my tapes ready, man.
I got you, bro, Willie. Thank you, soldier. All right, peace. This will be the last call right here, and we got to get up out of here. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City?
Brother Muhammad, Brother Thomas, how are you, man?
I'm good, Brother Thomas. How are you?
This mayor we got, Kim Trueheart, Ples Jones is old ex-lady.
Man. Yeah. Hey, Ples Jones been tweeting on Twitter. He ain't get his money from the city. I said, wait a minute. He done come into the Twitterverse to talk about the city ain't gave him his money for tearing down some more homes in the neighborhood, man. So I told Carl Sean Malone, brother.
This mayor, them folks we got down there, ain't nothing but a bunch of surrogate hoes for these developers down there, okay?
Yes, sir.
A bunch of surrogate hoes, man.
What's that,
in other words, these developers go down there and plant their seed up in them down there. And they ain't gonna do nothing else but give birth to their child for them. So they're a bunch of surrogate hoes, man.
Yes, sir. What's sir alleged, brother? But this is the Christmas season, so they say 'tis the season to be jolly and ho ho ho. Is that right?
Ho ho ho.
Yes, sir.
Ho,
All right,
ho, ho.
all right,
That's
brother.
exactly right.
Appreciate you checking in now. All right, and with that, we're gonna wrap up, get up out of here, man. Again, coming up, following the state of the city is Brother Carlton Douglas with what's going on. You don't want to miss it, and you better get you some insurance, man. You better check your pensions. I got to check with Carlton to see if your pensions is covered by your pension is covered by insurance, man. You better check your pensions, or you might end up with some hypertension, and you are gonna need some insurance then. So we're gonna wrap up, get up out of here, man. Stay tuned for Brother Carlton Douglas, and I see he got former City Councilwoman Belinda Conaway and another guest that's joining him. So you don't want to miss her, and you don't want to miss him. So we getting up out of here. We'll be back here tomorrow at 12 noon. We're going to podcast the show on our Twitter, Facebook, and Spreaker page. We do need your support, so please make those checks, money, orders payable to WFBR. Send it to 159 8th Avenue, Glen Burnie, Maryland, 21061, or do a righteous drive-by, as my main man, Brother Willie, said he's going to do at Terra Cafe right there, 25th and St. Paul, so that we can continue to come long and strong. We'll be back here tomorrow with Brother Jared Ball from Morgan State University Communications Department. Author, father, lecturer, scholar, and much more for sure. Talk about the ethnic cleansing of strong black voices from black radio and black media, as we see in this town, with Brother Kai Jackson. So we'll be back here tomorrow in action. So until then, God bless, all the best, and let's continue.